David Locke.
I'm Ron Boone.
How's everybody doing today? Nice to see you. Nice to be seen. Why are you laughing?
It's always nice to be seen.
The alternative sucks. Donovan Mitchell. Look at all the ball boys. Look who took care of the ball boys. Donovan Mitchell did his job. See that guy right over there, the bald guy that's sitting down on the chair? That is Corey Jez, the legendary stats analytics guy, the Utah Jazz, who's done amazing work with for the Jazz getting ready for the replay and the challenge. He's been mentioned a few times in the coach's challenge. Let's take a look around the arena. Early crowd. There, Jay Hillock and Gordon Chiesa, Marvin Bagley, Trevor Ariza, Nick Van Exel talking to Bobby Jackson. They probably had some battles. Vlade Divac is next. That's Peja Stojakovic. The old Kings group is all here. There's Vlade Divac. Dave Fredman, the legendary Jazz front office guy there. And there's the crew. And here's Donovan's warm-up with George Niang.
Got a question for you, and I'm sure you will be asking a lot of coaches on their opinion and how they want to, or how will they use the coaches challenge.
I will?
Yeah. Well, I just get the feeling that you're going to ask them that.
I hope other people ask, because I think you can tell whether they have any idea how to use it by their answer, and I don't want to be the one asking.
That's the reason I thought you'd be the one that would be asking them on how it would be effective for them.
Quinn gave a long monologue about it today to the media. I did a Locked On Jazz about it last week about it as well. It's a really interesting, the most interesting aspect to me about it is in the NFL you have about a minute and somebody out there is watching 2 or 3 replays and telling you. In the NBA you have about 14 seconds. Maybe not even that much. Because you've got to make your decision before the ball comes back into play. And the other thing that's worth noting on that is you actually can't use it unless a whistle has been blown. So you can't argue a non-call. You can't challenge a non-call. The other one, go ahead, sorry, what were you saying?
Just that's interesting that you're saying that you can't go back.
No, it's at that moment. Goaltending, you got to call it right there, like Quinn did the other day, and you have to call a timeout. If you're correct on the challenge, you get your timeout back, but you don't get a challenge back. So you only have one challenge a game.
So for instance, like the other night, the block shot.
So that was reviewed anyway. So there's so that's the other thing that's interesting. You can hold your challenge for the final 2 minutes, but in the final 2 minutes, goaltending out of bounds and block charge is already under review.
Okay, what if I block a shot, no whistle was blown, clearly a foul, they go to the other end and score?
Cannot do anything about it. So here's the best example. Remember Miami last year? Dwayne Wade pulls into the jumper, and he dives into our guy, and we foul him. They call the free throws. You could challenge that. The next play, Donovan drives, underhand scoop. They don't give him the whistle, even though we thought there was a foul. We're getting run out by junior ROTC or something. So then you get Donovan drives, and Donovan we thought got fouled. You can't challenge that because there was no whistle.
This is going to be, so we won't find too many coaches using it. Once they get used to this, they won't be using it.
Last year, the Salt Lake Stars used it 10 out of 50 games. But here's the interesting one. The math says you're better off, you should use it every night. No matter what, you should use it every night. Now, you lose a timeout if you're wrong. And the other one that's interesting about it is that last year on out-of-bounds plays, it was overturned about 50% of the time. On the other stuff, it was all about 30% of the time. So you're actually making a bet that's unlikely to have happen. So the fact that Quinn won the other night's unusual.
But you take points off the board in that case. If you don't take points off the board, as you mentioned,
that's it.
Doesn't make sense.
You're exactly right, Ron. The issue is if you have a chance to take points on or off the board, you should use it early in the game, no matter what.
Okay, what about the Kings?
I don't know. What about the Kings? They were ninth last year, so everyone thinks they were close, but they were 9 games out of the playoffs. That's not very close.
37 wins.
How close do you think they really are?
I don't think they're any closer this year than they were last year.
It's interesting. Everyone around the Kings think they're going to make the playoffs. Not one person has projected the Kings to make the playoffs.
Well, they based that on last year's performance, and did they get any better? They picked up Trezor Ariza, who is a solid player, but not is he a
but
starter
dipped
anymore?
Considerably last year in his 16th year in the NBA. So he played 35 minutes a night last year. But I don't think that's really what he is anymore.
So he's just getting the impression that maybe they have not improved that much. Other teams will have to beat up on each other in order for them to.
The interesting one for me on them is the Willie Cauley-Stein changed to Dwayne Dedmon. Their pick and roll defense with Willie Cauley-Stein was really very good. Dwayne Dedmon and Trae Young's pick and roll was the worst defensive pick and roll, one of the worst defensive pick and rolls in the league last year. Interesting, Trae Young and Alex Len's pick and roll defense last year was pretty good, which puts it right on Dwayne Dedmon. But, okay, so that's one side of the equation. The other side is that last year when they had Neiman Bielitsa on the floor is when they were at their best because they had spacing. So Dedmon provides that same spacing and lets Marvin Bagley work in the mid-range of the post where he might be really, really good. And he and De'Aaron Fox are obviously going to get better. That's where most people think they got better. It's just the internal improvement of those two players.
You know, one of these days on the plane, I'm going to get you to figure out something here. I just heard Coach Walton say something about we're going to get physical. I have a problem with coaches that have to tell their players to get physical. I'd like to know what teams are physical, how many fouls a game do they get, and how many fouls a game hurts them, you know, trying to be physical.
Well, if you ask our general manager, Dennis Lindsay, he would tell you that the key to road wins, our road winning percentage has been very good under Quinn Snyder and Dennis Lindsay, is lack of fouling. That if you do not foul, you have a chance to win on the road. But high foul teams don't play well on the road. How did Jerry Sloan's teams do on the road? Very poorly. And so you wonder they were high foul teams.
Yeah, and that was Jerry. Jerry wanted you to just be physical. And I was going to ask Walton, that's well, I'll leave it alone. Coaches have to tell their players to get physical, and they want them to be physical. What are you talking about?
That's a great question. You should ask that because you'll get a real answer because you're Ron Boone.
Yeah.
I ask that, he'll just blow me off. You're Ron Boone.
Well, it just strikes me a little different, I think, than some coaches want their players to be physical. I don't know if that's just something they throw out there. But I've found that players that try to get physical and rough and all, they end up in foul trouble and end up on the bench hurting their team.
It's always... Also, the other one that's so interesting is the old school idea. He's hot. You should be giving him a hard foul, right? We played a game of tuxedos, like Jerry used to always say.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you give a hard foul in this day and age, you sit for a week.
Yeah. Got to think. You got to be
like. I don't want you giving a hard foul. I want you on our roster tomorrow. I want you to let's do something to try to D up on them. Be interesting. I think the Jazz, by the way, are going to play this one pretty far out tonight. Like, I think you're going to see into the fourth quarter regular rotation, and we do see Emmanuel Mudiay for the first time tonight, which will be interesting.
Yeah, it's time, and you know, you and I discussed this. Probably the last 2 ball games, we'll probably see more of a rotation for Quinn Snyder getting ready for the opener. It's smart. I mean, probably not going to use as many players as they did in Oklahoma City, and definitely not going to finish the ball game with the players they had out there on the floor.
In New Orleans.
In New Orleans.
I think the other one, by the way, is Wednesday. You know, the question Quinn basically has on Wednesday was interesting. I'm either giving them Wednesday off or Thursday off. But I'd rather play Wednesday against an opponent and give them Thursday off, rest, and then we'll practice Friday, Saturday, take Sunday off, practice Monday, Tuesday, and play our first one Wednesday. But they've got to go hard somewhere in here again. They can't shut it down after tonight and then go Monday to Wednesday before 9 days between going hard, or all the training camp conditioning you've done doesn't do any good.
And they've had conditioning this year.
They have. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go. If Wednesday they play Portland, and if on Saturday they didn't have a pretty good little run inside the group and then take Sunday off.
we'll see here. I know the hard thing about having training camp is you have 20 guys in camp, and how do you get?
Yeah, we don't have 20 guys on the roster tonight.
And 20 guys on the roster.
There's not 20 guys on the roster tonight.
Exactly. Well, I'm talking about it like in
No,
practice.
right. Queen is not accessing 20 guys, I don't think, tonight.
Oh, okay.
Have a good one,